here he is. Here he is. It's only been 5 months since I posted the video. Yeah, I've been super busy. So obviously I was mobile. I've now rented a unit because me and a good friend of mine, we were starting to build the engines for these. So forged them, ported cylinder heads, and obviously, you know, I do all the turbo work and pump work and methanol and all that. So anyway, I thought I'd introduce the welcome back video to this car. So this, as it stands at the moment, is 600 horsepower. So it is a built engine. We've got a V5 turbo, methanol injection, Loba fuel pump, we've got a Walbro, we have a Torqbyte fuel controller, yada yada yada. So, bit of a short story with this. So basically Sam bought this car from a reputable tuner, a very reputable tuner actually, and he bought it as advertised as 600 horsepower. Or 600 horsepower build anyway. Anyway, he got it, we took it to the dyno. It actually made 520 horsepower, and then we did some digging around and found out it had stock low pressure pump. The methanol controller was broken. He had a V2 kit on there. This is a V3 we put on it now. Had stock boost pipes, yada yada. So yeah, so the brief was to get 600 horsepower out of it. So I did all that work, put a Walbro in here, PM4 fuel controller, methanol injection. We went back to Unicorn and it made 600 horsepower on the nose, which was great. Sam was made up, Sam was happy. So he drove it around for 3 months, or kicked his ass for 3 months, should I say. And then he called me one day and said, there's noise coming from the engine, which is never a good sign. Now the noise sounded like it was coming from the top of the head. So he said, I've got a mate, my mate's got a garage, he's going to have a look at it. Could possibly be a broken rocker, which I thought, yeah, could be. Anyway, he took the cover off and deduced that it's not actually that was making the noise. So long story short, we removed the engine. Well, first of all, I took the sump off. Any sort of unwanted noise is probably a good call to take the sump off and check for metal in the oil. Lo and behold, we found metal. Anyway, long story short, so this is a built engine. As I said, it was supposed to be built by a very reputable tuner, and what we deduced when we actually took it out, I'll show you some pictures. It looked to me like it had Chinese copy forged pistons and Chinese copy ZRP rod. The ZRP rods just didn't look right. Yeah, I should mention the noise actually turned out to be a shattered wrist pin in between the piston and the con rod, as you can see here. It shattered all the way through. I must say, I've never seen that before. Anyway, generally, when you have a forged piston, like a good brand, I don't know, Vossner, Omega, Marl, they always have a stamp on top of the piston. These didn't. These were just blank. So yeah. So what Sam was looking at is obviously a full rebuild. Now this is where it gets interesting, and this is how it's now in my hands. So his mate put it together, and he called me down to time it up. And when I actually got down there to time it up, first thing I said to him was, did you install the exhaust cam correctly? For those of you that don't know, when you're building these engines, you can't install the exhaust cam on the cylinder head and the intake cam and then put the rocker cover down. The exhaust cam in particular, because the lobes move, it's got variable valve timing, or Audi's version of it. You have to install the exhaust cam in the rocker cover, and the reason being, and I'll point this out now in the picture, so these actually move from a large lobe to a smaller lobe, and if you look at the back of the engine here, we've got cam actuators. What these actually do is actually a little rod that will come down when the ECU requests it, and it'll actually move the cam onto either the larger profile or the smaller profile lobe. So anyway, basically he put it in wrong. I just took his word for it. I mean, in hindsight I probably should have said, right, let's have a look, but I'm not going to tell a mechanic how to suck eggs. So I timed it up, we put it in, we started it up, first start, which is here. Okay, first fire up. Okay. Straight up. Sounded great, brilliant. As soon as the oil got to temperature, low oil pressure warning flashed on the dash, something you don't want to see on your dash. And also we had a cam crank correlation error, which generally points to it's out of time. But I have done many of these engines and they are pretty easy to time. You can't really go wrong unless you do something really wrong. So yeah, so what I noticed, I was logging on VCDS, we noticed the angle was out by 1.4 degrees, and yet when we were revving it, it was going to 2.8 degrees. And the reason being, and it soon became apparent, because we could hear like a cowbell ringing from here. And what was happening is the exhaust cam was doing this at the end. So there's a reluctor just here. Just near the cam sensor, there's a reluctor, which obviously this is a Hall effect sensor, and that's where it reads the position of the cam, and it correlates that with the crank sensor under the intake on the block. So he fucked the cylinder head. So yeah, so by this point Sam said, I'll get it on a low loader, I'll get it to you. So I have put a new cylinder head on it, new cams because the cams were fucked, new cam bridge, new timing cover, new vac pump, because have I got the vac pump actually? I'm sure I've got the vac pump. So this is the vac pump, and you can actually see just on the corner there where we've got damage, and this is because the back of the exhaust camshaft, which drives the high pressure pump, so basically try and do this with one hand, basically there's a lobe that obviously actuates this follower and compresses the high pressure pump, and that lobe, because the cam was oscillating, it's been hitting the inside, which is what those marks are, you can see there. So yeah, he fucked it. So anyway, so I have put this back together and put a new timing chain, just the drive chain. The balance shafts are reset again, just because it was just worth doing while it was there. So this engine is running sweet as a nut now, and when I say sweet as a nut, check this out. Here we go, back with the Golf R with the ported head, as you can see. Backside. So yeah, we're going to stick 500 miles on this, and then we're off to Unico to tune it. Well, job done. That is one smooth running engine. So I've got 500 miles to break in on this, and because we've put a cylinder head that we did where we've ported the intake, we've opened up the exhaust and ported the exhaust and actually polished to the valves from the exhaust. So we've opened up the manifold by 3mm circumference, and yes, I am pretty sure this is going to make a lot more power than 600 horsepower when we take it back. But anyway, I've got 500 miles to do on it. It's on 160 miles done so far. So yes, so we will be back to Unicorn next Wednesday, I think I'm booked in, and we'll see what she does there. But yeah, for you eagle-eyed viewers, I don't know if you've seen this, oil cooler's been left off as it is at the moment because I'm breaking it in with Quantum 5W40. So once I've done the miles, I'm going to put Miller's NT Plus in. We just don't want to cross-contaminate the oils with the oil cooler. So that will be going back in once we put the Millers on, basically. But yeah, anyway, here's a few videos of the initial journey with it. And the next video, hang fire, because we will be seeing what this does now on the dyno with this this cylinder head and this setup. But yeah, we put mile pistons, 83mm. So we've opened up the cylinders now by 0.5mm. ZRP con rods. You opted for H-beam. I personally prefer I-beam, and I don't know if you remember Charlie's car that made 550. I've got his in next week, where we've just built an engine for him. So we've got PEC rods with Charlie's, I-beam rifle drilled, and we're using Vosner pistons, again 83mm. But yeah, just going back to the 83mm part, so the pistons we took out are actually 82.5mm, which is stock size pistons, but obviously they weren't stock pistons, they were look like cheap Chinese copies anyway. So yeah, so it is a few videos of the when we initially got it to 600 horsepower. Our next video, fingers crossed, we will have this running back over 600. I'm going to say about 630. That's what my money's on, but we'll see anyway. Welcome back, and yeah, I'll start doing more videos now. I've got a unit and space to do it. I mean, what you've got to imagine is when I am driving around from job to job, I mean, that takes up most of my day, so I just didn't have time to do videos and get them up for you guys, but I will be now. Now we're stationary. I'm still doing a few mobile jobs for selective customers, but yeah, this is going to be one to watch out for. So thanks for watching, stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one. Good afternoon, welcome back to the channel. We've got another great day today, but first of all, as you can see, I'm in an Audi S3, not just any Audi S3. This is actually my old Audi S3, the 530 horsepower one. So I do still do a lot of work on this car for the new owner, servicing, general repairs, brakes, blah blah blah. However, today is MOT day, so I've just taken it to an MOT guy. Yeah, that guy, and it's just passed. Surprise, surprise. So yeah, so I'm just taking it back now to the owner, the new owner. After that, I'm going to pick the van up, and then I'm over at Unicorn Motor Developments because we have got a monster of a car in today. So I previously visited this car to fit a Walbro 450 low pressure pump, a PM4 Torqbyte fuel controller. Obviously the power this guy is going to push is going to go way beyond the stock fuel controller capabilities. So anyway, a bit about the car. So here's a Golf R. It's running a V5 turbo. It's on a fully built engine with methanol, and I'm just on my way now. I've got to fit 980cc injectors to it, and someone's cowboyed a 4-bar map sensor onto the intake, so we're going to put a T-map sensor back on it, genuine one, and then it's going to hit the dyno. So here we are, monster of a Golf R, this built engine, Technics V5. We just fit his 980cc injectors, so we are just flashing a file so we can start the car. Yeah, it's going to be some big numbers out of this, easily 600 plus. So much to Sam's dismay, after already being here the first time and finding out his car was only rolling 520 horsepower, we found that the methanol controller wasn't actually working properly. Now, this was a V2 kit that, as you can see from the pictures, someone had very badly wired in, quite dangerous actually. So we went away from Unicorn, tail between our legs, and I said to Sam, look, we're going to have to rip it all out and get a new methanol injection system in there. So I stuck a V3 kit in, wired it in all correctly, and then we went back to the dyno a couple of weeks later, and this was the result. 600 horsepower. Happy days.